It's official. EXO, Kitty is coming back for Season 3, and fans are buzzing with excitement about what's next for Kitty and her friends in Seoul. Netflix confirmed the renewal earlier this year, and production has already wrapped, giving us plenty of details about who's returning, who's new, and what kind of stories we can expect. So let's break down everything we know so far about EXO, Kitty Season 3. First, let's talk about the renewal itself. EXO, Kitty was announced for a third season on Valentine's Day 2025, the perfect date for a series built on teen romance, heartfelt friendships, and messy love triangles. Filming took place in Seoul, South Korea, beginning in May 2025 and wrapping by mid-July. That quick turnaround has fans optimistic we won't have to wait too long before Season 3 hits our screens. While Netflix hasn't given us an exact release date yet, industry reports are pointing toward an early 2026 release window. That means we're less than a year away from diving back into Kitty's world. Behind the scenes, there's also been a notable change. Valentina Garza has stepped in as the new showrunner, replacing Jessica O'Toole. Garza is known for her work on teen-driven, character-focused dramas, so it'll be interesting to see how her vision shapes Kitty's story moving forward. A showrunner shift often signals fresh energy, and with Season 3 already promising new dynamics, this change could mark an exciting turning point for the series. Now, onto the cast. The best news for fans is that nearly everyone is returning. Hannah Cathcart is, of course, back as Kitty, and she'll be joined by Min-young Choi as Dae, Gia Kim as Yuri, Sang-hyun Lee as Min-ho, Anthony Kivan as Q, Reagan Aaliyah as Juliana, Peter Thurnwald as Alex, Joshua Lee as Jin, Sasha Basin as Pravina, Michael K. Lee as Professor Lee, Philippe Lee as Mr. Moon, Jocelyn Shelfo as Madison, Hanbi Ryu as Eunice, and Sunny Oh as Mihi. In short, the entire crew we've grown attached to will be back for another chapter. There are also some exciting updates about the cast lineup. Hojo Shin, who played Ji-won in a recurring role, has been promoted to series regular. This means we'll be seeing much more of his character, and it's likely he'll play a bigger role in Kitty's journey. On top of that, 3 new actors are joining Season 3. Sewell Thelwell, known for Saint X, is joining as Marius, and he'll be a series regular. Soy Kim, from Like a French Film, will play Yisu in a recurring role, and Christine Huang, who appeared in Law & Order SVU, is stepping in as Gigi. These additions suggest new storylines, fresh romantic tension, and plenty of opportunities for drama. So what kind of storylines can we expect? While plot details are being kept under wraps, Netflix has teased that Season 3 will be full of romance, adventure, and even a first-ever summer episode. That's a big deal, since EXO, Kitty has always been rooted in the school year at KISS. A summer episode could completely change the tone, allowing for new settings, different types of interactions, and unexpected developments between characters. Fans are particularly excited about the possibility of Kitty and Minho's relationship developing further. Season 2 ended with sparks flying between the two, and Season 3 is expected to explore where that connection could lead. Of course, Dae is still in the picture, and Kitty's feelings for him may not be entirely gone. This means we could see more of the love triangle energy that's made the show so addicting. Meanwhile, Yuri's storyline is also expected to take center stage, especially after her family's secrets came to light. With new financial and personal struggles, her arc is shaping up to be one of the most emotional of the season. One thing that sets EXO, Kitty, apart from other shows in this genre is its sincerity. While it's packed with fun, romance, and humor, the series also leans into heartfelt storytelling. Characters deal with identity, belonging, and personal growth in ways that feel authentic, and Season 3 seems ready to continue that tradition. Adding new characters like Marius, Yisu, and Gigi only broadens the canvas, giving the writers even more opportunities to explore themes of love, culture, and self-discovery. Which relationships will make it, and which ones will crumble? And maybe the biggest question of all, will Season 3 be the grand finale of Kitty's journey? Or is Netflix planning to keep this spin-off alive for years to come? We've dug into the theories, leaks, and behind-the-scenes clues, and in this video, we're breaking down everything we know, and everything we think might happen. But before we dive in, let's start with the real hook. Could Season 3 be the last time we ever see Kitty Song Covey's story on screen? If XO, Kitty mirrors the path of the To All the Boys I've Loved Before franchise, which was based on a trilogy of books and wrapped up in 3 movies, then Season 3 might be the perfect stopping point. On the other hand, since XO, Kitty isn't based on a pre-written trilogy of novels, Netflix technically has the freedom to extend this story for as many seasons as they want. Will they chase the hype and let it run, or will they go for a neat, satisfying 3-season arc? That's what we'll explore later. But first, let's break down the potential plotlines Season 3 might deliver. At the heart of XO, Kitty is always Kitty herself, and her tangled love life has been the emotional core of the story. Season 2 left us with plenty of unanswered questions about where her heart truly lies. After all the chaos of her time at KISS in Korea, Kitty has been pulled between multiple love interests, and Season 3 could finally be the chapter where she decides who she really wants, or if she even wants to be with anyone at all. Some fans are speculating that Kitty might end up alone for at least part of the season. That might sound disappointing for viewers who are rooting for one particular pairing, but narratively, it could be the healthiest choice. After all, Kitty has spent 2 seasons trying to find her identity through her relationships. Season 3 might shift that focus toward independence and self-love. On the flip side, the writers could use Season 3 as the time to lock in a definitive endgame couple, similar to how the To All the Boys movies ended with Lara Jean choosing Peter. Another major thread is Yuri and Juliana. Their love story has been one of the most powerful arcs in the show, but it's far from smooth sailing. Season 2 showed us the difficulties of long-distance relationships, cultural pressures, and the challenges of growing up while in love. Season 3 could either be about them overcoming those hurdles and becoming stronger than ever, or it could be about them realizing they've grown in different directions. One theory is that Juliana might return to Korea full-time, putting her back in Kitty's orbit and reigniting some of the old conflicts. Another is that Kitty herself could end up entangled in Yuri's world again, either as a friend or something more complicated. Whatever happens, Yuri and Juliana's story is too important to be sidelined. They will almost certainly be central to Season 3's plot. We also can't forget that XO, Kitty, is a spin-off rooted in family. Kitty is the younger sister of Lara Jean, and while the show has made a point of carving out Kitty's independence, Season 3 could bring more connections to her family back into focus. Will we finally see more crossover with Lara Jean and Peter Kavinsky? Fans have been clamoring for a cameo or a proper storyline tie-in ever since the spin-off started. If Season 3 does end up being the final season, this might be the perfect time to give fans that fan service moment. A family reunion that ties Kitty's journey back to the original trilogy that started it all. Kitty's relationship with her late mother's memory could also come back into focus. Throughout the series, Kitty has used her mom's old letters and experiences as a guiding light. Season 3 could be about Kitty realizing that she has to stop living in her sister's or her mom's shadow and truly step into her own story. That kind of theme would give the show the emotional depth it needs to finish strong. Of course, XO, Kitty wouldn't be what it is without KISS, the Korean independent school of Seoul. The setting has been a character in itself, full of friendships, rivalries, and opportunities for drama. But here's the big question. Will Season 3 keep Kitty in Seoul, or will it move her story elsewhere? Some theories suggest that Kitty might actually return to the US, ending her study abroad and trying to find herself back home. That could create a whole new set of conflicts as she reintegrates into American life while staying connected to the people she met in Korea. On the other hand, keeping her in Seoul would allow the show to continue weaving in the rich cultural backdrop that's become one of its signatures. Every season so far has introduced new characters, and Season 3 will likely do the same. Whether it's rivals, new love interests, or family connections, fresh faces help keep the storylines from becoming repetitive. One possibility is that Kitty could face competition at school from someone who challenges her academically, forcing her to grow outside of just her love life. Another possibility is that we meet more extended family members, broadening the Covey family tree and adding new layers of drama. Now, let's tackle the question everyone is asking. Will Season 3 be the final season? On one hand, it would make sense. The To All the Boys movies ended after 3 installments, creating a neat and satisfying arc. Jenny Han, who oversees this universe, might prefer to keep things tight and purposeful rather than stretching the story too thin. 3 seasons would also allow Netflix to market Season 3 as the final chapter, which tends to generate hype and viewership. On the other hand, XO, Kitty is not bound by a book trilogy like the original series. This is an original story, and as long as the ratings are strong, Netflix has every incentive to keep it going. Teen dramas can run for 5, 6, or even more seasons if the audience is engaged. It's possible that Season 3 will not be the end, but rather just another step in Kitty's coming-of-age journey. If that's the case, we might see the writers deliberately leave storylines open-ended, relationships unresolved, Kitty's future uncertain, so that there's room for a Season 4. If Season 3 is the final season, how might they wrap it up? One possibility is that Kitty finally chooses her endgame partner, giving fans a clear romantic conclusion. Another is that Kitty chooses herself, stepping into independence and showing that her story isn't defined by who she dates. Family reunions, closure with her late mother's story, and perhaps a cameo from Lara Jean and Peter could provide the emotional punch. If Netflix and Jenny Han want a full circle ending, Season 3 could end with Kitty writing her own letter, just like Lara Jean did in the original franchise, signifying that she's ready to create her own love story moving forward. If Season 3 is not the end, then expect the finale to open new doors. Instead of final answers, we might get new conflicts. Kitty moving to another country, Yuri facing a major life decision, or a cliffhanger that sets up even bigger drama for Season 4. At the end of the day, Season 3 of XO, Kitty could go in many directions. Whether it's romantic resolution, family closure, or bold new twists, it's guaranteed to keep us hooked. And whether it ends here or continues, one thing is certain. Kitty Song-Covey has grown from being Lara Jean's little sister into a character powerful enough to carry her own universe. Do you think XO, Kitty Season 3 will mark the end of the series, or will Netflix keep it alive with more seasons to come? Share your predictions in the comments below. We left Kitty in a whirlwind of uncertainty. She had finally worked through so many of the tangled threads that had haunted her since arriving at the Korean Independent School of Seoul, discovering her sexuality, facing her family's secrets, fighting for her place at the school, and navigating multiple love triangles. And yet, just as it seemed she was finding solid ground, a single moment of vulnerability threw her entire world into question again. She confessed her feelings to Minho in an airport scene filled with hope, longing, and doubt. And in one breath, everything shifted. Now with Season 3 officially confirmed and filming wrapped, fans are left asking, what will become of Kitty's journey, and what kind of chaos, heartbreak, and growth can we expect when she returns to Netflix screens in early 2026? Season 3 of XO, Kitty is already shaping up to be the most ambitious and emotionally charged installment yet. Netflix made the announcement in a playful Valentine's Day reveal, where Anna Cathcart held up a bouquet with a card that cheekily confirmed, "There's a 3rd season in store for you." Not long after, the cast reunited in Seoul, and production officially wrapped in July 2025, meaning the countdown is already on. This time, though, things are different. For the first time, the show will step outside the strict boundaries of Kiss and venture into the glow of summer, with the creators teasing that the upcoming season will include the series' first summer episode. That alone signals a shift in tone. The tight schedules, exams, and class politics of previous seasons will give way to a more open and free environment, where love, identity, and ambition can unfold under a softer, warmer light. Yet in true Kitty fashion, summer won't be simple. It will be messy, dramatic, and filled with just as many tears as kisses. The biggest question on everyone's mind is what happens between Kitty and Minho. Their chemistry has been undeniable from the very first season, even when their interactions seemed combative or competitive. By the end of Season 2, that tension had evolved into something deeper, something Kitty could no longer ignore. Her confession of feelings was the kind of romantic cliffhanger that fans dream of, but it came at the worst possible time. Minho was heading off on tour with his family, and Kitty had just secured her scholarship back at Kiss. So does she follow her heart onto a summer of touring, or does she stay put and prepare for her senior year? Season 3 promises to answer that question, and no matter which direction the writers take, the fallout will ripple through the rest of the cast. If Kitty and Minho do spend the summer together, we'll likely see their relationship blossom in new ways. Playful dates, heated arguments, and the intoxicating thrill of first love that feels unstoppable. But we also know Kitty, and nothing in her life ever comes without conflict. The challenges of balancing her American background with Minho's high society world will bring tension, and the weight of expectations could create cracks even as sparks fly. On the other hand, if Kitty chooses to stay at Kiss and let Minho go, the heartbreak of separation could fuel a whole new emotional arc that sees her fighting for independence, identity, and clarity about what she truly wants. But Kitty isn't the only one at the center of change. Every character orbiting around her has their own story, and Season 3 is poised to expand those narratives in ways that keep fans glued to the screen. Q, Kitty's loyal best friend, will spend the summer training at USC, which means he and Jin are about to face the biggest test of all: long distance. Their romance in Season 2 was one of the sweetest, most refreshing additions, and viewers are desperate to know if they can endure the strain of months apart. Will their texts and calls keep the bond strong, or will time and space pull them into new connections and temptations? Meanwhile, Day, Kitty's original anchor at Kiss, is navigating his own transformation. He has shifted from being Kitty's main love interest to a friend and confidant. And his budding relationship with Eunice surprised audiences, but quickly became a fan-favorite subplot. Now, with Eunice gaining opportunities in the music world by opening for Minho's brother, her career could come between them, leaving Day to decide whether he can handle playing second to her growing spotlight. And then there's Yuri. If Season 2 was defined by Kitty's romantic entanglements, Yuri's journey became equally compelling. She faced rejection, complicated love, and the devastating unraveling of her family's empire. The legal troubles plaguing her parents have stripped her of the safety net of privilege she once took for granted, and now she must redefine herself outside the wealth and power she grew up with. Add in the discovery of her half-brother Alex, and Yuri's arc in Season 3 is bound to be layered with identity crises, loyalty struggles, and possibly even redemption. Actress Gia Kim has already teased that she hopes to see more cat-and-mouse moments between Yuri and Day, hinting that her dynamic with the group could shift in fascinating ways. It's possible that Yuri, once painted as the it-girl antagonist, could emerge as one of the most complex and relatable characters of the season, proving that love and growth come from places you least expect. Of course, what would a new season be without new characters to shake things up? Season 3 introduces Marius, Yisu, and Gigi, 3 fresh faces whose arrival promises to inject new energy, rivalries, and potential romances into the story. While little is known about their exact roles, the addition of new personalities almost guarantees conflict. Will one of them challenge Kitty's position at Kiss? Could one become a romantic rival, or perhaps even a mentor figure guiding the group through uncharted territory? At the same time, Ji-won, who has already been introduced as Kitty's half-brother, is being promoted to a series regular, meaning the exploration of family, belonging, and Kitty's own sense of heritage is far from over. With Ji-won stepping more firmly into Kitty's life, expect emotional conversations, sibling banter, and maybe even a stronger sense of Kitty's roots and how she connects to Korea beyond just romance. Behind the scenes, the creative direction of Season 3 is also evolving. Valentina Garza, who wrote the finale of Season 2, is now taking over as showrunner, and this change is significant. Her voice, her vision, and her understanding of Kitty's journey will shape the season's tone, and fans are excited to see how she builds on what Jenny Han originally created. Anna Cathcart herself has hinted at how excited she is to see Kitty mature, describing her character as someone who still carries her bold, quirky optimism, but is also learning how to stand more firmly on her own 2 feet. That growth is going to resonate with fans who have followed Kitty from her introduction in the To All the Boys films to now, as she blossoms into a protagonist in her own right. Fans have already taken to Reddit and Twitter to share theories, from predictions that Kitty and Minho will face an early heartbreak before reuniting stronger, to speculation that Yuri could step into the spotlight as a more central figure, to dreams of cameos from Lara Jean or Peter Kavinsky. While no crossover has been confirmed, the very possibility adds an extra layer of anticipation. And that's part of the magic of XO, Kitty. It exists both as its own vibrant story and as a continuation of a beloved universe, giving audiences the sense that anything is possible. And now, it's time to hear from you. Do you think Kitty and Minho are destined to be the endgame couple, or will her story take a completely different turn? Will Q and Jin survive the challenges of long distance? How do you think Yuri will rebuild her world after everything she lost? And what role will the new characters play in shaking up the balance? Share your predictions in the comments below, because this fandom thrives on speculation, and the best theories often come from you. Don't forget to like this video if you're as hyped as we are for Season 3, and make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss our episode breakdowns, theory discussions, and deep dives once the season drops.